Good morning, friends. I've titled this video, Tucker Carlson, Predictive Programming. We're probably just going to do 5 minutes on him, and then I'll just ramble about other things. He's been doing some interviews with different people, and this one guy who was in the Pentagon, he was trying to encourage Trump not to go to war with Iran or bomb their nuclear sites. I guess he got fired. And then Tucker, I literally only watched 2 or 3 minutes. I skipped around a little bit, got some sound bites. Tucker's like, yeah, well, you know, 9/11 and the Arabs, like doing 9/11? No. So he's towing the line of the official story. And then the other thing was, the other guy's like, yeah, and there could be Iranian terrorists in America. They could do something. So they're laying the groundwork for a false flag attack in America. I don't think I'm saying anything that's new. We can't stop what's coming. What we can do is prepare. We can prepare for food shortages. We can prepare for electrical outages. Like, I've been buying DVDs so I can watch in case there's no internet because I'm bored. 6 years ago, I was low on food, and I mean, I could have driven to town to get food, but I was like, I'll just eat some of my prepper food, and I found it was disgusting. I was like, oh my God, if I had to eat this just to survive, I'd probably kill myself. So when you do get your prepper food, make sure it's savory. Make sure it's delicious, because you're going to be eating this food during times of difficulty, and food can be really uplifting emotionally. I'm trying to get to the comments. All right, well, if you're going to give me negative comments, I'm just going to block you. Imagine somebody taking time out of their day to come here and say negative words to me. I am rubber, you are glue. It bounces off me and it sticks on you. You guys are such fucking idiots. Like, literally, you think you fuck with me? You're sabotaging your own life. You're literally like one of those kids who cuts their skin with razor blades. That's how lame you are. And you're not investing in your bright future. You're investing in your dark future, because spending time trolling me is wasted hours. You're not earning money. You're really just a lost person. Some remote viewers, this August will be 2 years, Dick Alligator and 3 of his pals, who are all top-notch remote viewers, they said that there's a terrorist attack in America with lots of energetics, which is a code word for bombs, explosions. And they said it's 10 times larger than 9/11. So my guess is, based on New York City had a public service announcement 2 years ago, year and a half ago, for nuclear explosion. New Jersey had it. Ventura, California had it, and San Antonio, Texas had drills for a radiological event, maybe Dirty Bomb. So those are 4 cities that I think could be potential hotspots for a so-called nuclear event. This is all to push Trump to go to war with Iran. Also, Israel might nuke itself and blame Iran. This 4chan being down is really affecting me. I realize I'm really addicted to global news. Just like the losers who told me I'm my own loser because I'm pursuing something that doesn't make me money, which is global events. It might save my life if I know what's happening out there. I can prepare for it. But I'm also wasting my time on doing daily broadcasts about it. Somehow I'm shadow banned, or my content is just horrible. But I don't hear that from my supporters. My supporters really like my content. So I think it's that my content is too truthful. And there's no room for truth on X or YouTube. My neighbor, he owns a property a little bit over, and he speaks okay English, enough to get by. Hardworking Hispanic man, and they done some cleanup, so he came over to see that. He brought me some beer yesterday, so that was really nice of him, and he brought me a chicken sandwich from Wendy's. What a sweet guy. I tried to pay him for it, but he wouldn't take the money. He just wants me to call him if anybody's ever dumping trash or doing something on his property. Just keeping an eye out for the neighborhood. That's sweet. I don't know if you saw, I made a fun logo for Bright Chan, and I couldn't do the vector. My vector drawing was like really broken yesterday, so I had to make the sheep out of squares. I'm just going to show you how funny they look. See how square they are? That was the best I could do. Sometimes you just got to do what you can do. These are like 8-bit sheep. So the talk about tariffs has kind of cooled down. We're done with Tucker Carlson, by the way. The talk about tariffs has really cooled down. Although yesterday China said that if anybody retaliates against them because of what America's doing, anybody other than America, if they choose America's side and start to retaliate against China, that they would there'd be consequences. That's logical. Excuse me for a moment. All right. Why you Americans put your flag everywhere? It's a good question. Well, I was a politician, so I was running for president of the United States, and I want to I guess it's like a reminder of our Constitution and what we stand for, which is Constitution. It's our rules, our Bill of Rights, our First Amendment right, which is freedom of speech. You don't have that. If you're not in America, you don't have free speech. Nope, you don't have what we have. So what we have is something. So in a way, I'm just bragging. I'm really proud, really proud of our American flag. It's not my flag; it's our flag. Um, Key Van, what nation do you live in? Whatever you say, I'll say. Sounds like you're not proud enough to fly your own flag. Hmm. I've been kind of learning how to use Twitter to get some decent news out of it. I see Mossad is in the news. That doesn't make sense. You live in Europe. Romania, I'm guessing. Yeah, you don't have free speech because it's not like USA. You have limited free speech, which is not free speech. You have partial speech. You have limited speech, but there's nothing free about it. You can't freely go on with what you want. But I would say most people, including America is France. That's a nice place. You're living in the best part of Europe, I think. You got the best weather, the best fertile grounds for growing food. You've got the English Channel up there, and then you've also got the Mediterranean. France has a lot going on. I'll just read these headlines from X. Student loans, Great Depression, Mossad, Cash, Patel, CNBC, Arch, SPY, $SPY, Candace, Bricks, Hyperlane, 91,000 Bitcoin, $Turbo, Raskin, Bondi, Pound, Build in Public, President Putin, Burkina Faso, Gold, Trump Media, Malaysia, RSR is in the news again. Wow. Hey, Screaming Mad Bob, Subway. So, what's this about, Tucker Carlson? Well, he's controlled opposition. I think he's doing predictive programming for false flag attack in America to blame Iran to justify us putting boots on the ground in Iran. When they say, oh, well, like this guy just got fired from the Pentagon who was like, don't go to war with Iran, have a military strategy for winning, which we never do. They really just want to involve us in a long, protracted war with no end in sight. I think Tucker's extremely insightful, and he's an intelligent person. I'm not saying he's ignorant or anything like that. I also think he went to Yale Law School. What if I was to be critical of Tucker, it's that he doesn't take his wisdom to Washington, D.C. He would make a great politician, but since he doesn't run for politics, it makes me think that he's an actor. He's a highly paid actor, and he's shaping America. I mean, you can shape America through being a politician, or you can shape America as being a talk show host. Yeah. Yeah, Israel wants that, not Trump. Well, I'm not sure if Trump actually has any original ideas. He's like a prostitute. He's like, the people come to him. What can I get for $1 million? Well, straight sex. How much for a blowjob? $2 million. All right. Like, he's just selling services. Also, marketing. What do you call it? Well, so in order to be a good politician, you need to know what your base of people seek resolution on. So investigative marketing, if they were to ask questions to Trump supporters, what are the most important topics to you? And it's going to be no particular order: immigration, the high cost of housing, the high cost of food, red tape, and focus groups. That's what they're called. So they're going to do focus groups and get the main bullet points, the main things that are really important to people. And then Trump is just going to milk that like a cow. And he's smart. It's not him. Like, there's people behind Trump who are orchestrating this massive hypnosis. I'm not trying to disassemble anything. I'm actually trying to help Trump, and I'm also trying to survive World War III. And I make a lot of assumptions, which are the military-industrial complex would prefer war over peace. They would rather be at war because that means more money, more projects, faster approvals, more boondoggles. I will say that the world has shifted into global corporate fascism. So these corporations are international Nazis, and they operate like Hitler's speech about the international clique: wake up in Prague, go to sleep in Hungary, have lunch in London. This rootless clique. Instead of that being Jews, it's the international corporations, which have some Jews, but quit blaming Jews. I'm going to be real serious here. If you're a Christian and you blame Jews for running the banking empire, why don't you Christians start your own bank? It'd be so easy. There's no law against starting your own bank. I'm asking Grok for the Hitler speech on international clique. I think it's at the Siemens factory. Yeah, Adolf Hitler used the phrase international clique in his speech at the Siemens Schucker plant in Berlin. When I got my eyes are, I need glasses. The struggle between the people and the hatred amongst them is being nurtured by a very specific interested parties. And I'm going to say corporations. There weren't major global corporations during World War II, and now we do have major global corporations. So I'm going to read this and then say global corporations. Nurtured by very specific interested parties, global corporations. It is a small, rootless international clique that is turning the people against each other, that does not want them to have peace. It is the people who are at home, both nowhere and everywhere, who don't have anywhere a soil on which they have grown up, but who live in Berlin today, in Brussels tomorrow, Paris the day after that, and then again in Prague or Vienna or London, who feel at home everywhere. International corporations. An audience member shouted, "The Jews," during this segment, clarifying Hitler's implied target. The speech aimed to justify Germany's withdrawal from the League of Nations and promote rearmament, blaming this clique for international tension. So it's corporations that we can't control. Just think about like the pharmaceutical corporations who created the vaccines for COVID, and there's no legal ramifications against them because it was an emergency. Oh, how convenient. So we're basically living in a time of the most perfect manipulation. We've got mass marketing, we got psychological warfare on steroids because we have all this market research to get into people's heads, and they know all the ways people are triggered. So, including myself, we're all being manipulated. We're all being highly manipulated. Like maybe the whole prepper thing is just to trick people into buying a bunch of food that they store in their basement. And they have no intention of civil war or civil unrest. They just want people to buy food that will spoil in 10 years and they have to buy it again. I don't know. I look at the things said in the 80s about pandemics, population control, and look at guys like Bill Gates who aren't hiding it. He's like, yeah, if we do Africa right, there'll be like an extra 1 billion Africans never born. Therefore, there's a billion people not born into suffering and poverty. He's like, that's good for us because then they won't get on boats and come to us for help, which is true. Let me go back to the news here. Oh, let me pull up Slashdot. It said RFK proposes artificial ban on dyes, or proposes a ban on artificial dyes for food, which sounds good. Companies ditch fluorescent lights in a battle for office return. Ooh, Google Chrome to continue to use third-party cookies in major reversal. Huh. Let's read this Google cookie thing because um, I'm not. I'm a really bad JavaScript programmer. I am. I'm terrible at JavaScript. Uh, but I was trying to learn it 20 years ago, and I remember I was trying to, put a cookie. I was trying to make a persistent cookie. Anyways, you're not allowed to do it. Cookies are tied to individual websites. So let's see here. I'm in a shocking development. Google won't roll out a new standalone prompt for third-party cookies in Chrome. It's a move that amounts to a U-turn on the Chrome team's early update approach to depreciating third-party cookies. Announced in July last year, with the latest development bound to cause ructions across the ad tech ecosystem, we made a decision to maintain our current approach to offering users third-party cookie choice in Chrome and will not be rolling out a new standalone prompt for third-party cookies. Users can continue to choose the best option for themselves in Chrome privacy and security. However, it's not the end of privacy sandbox. According to Google, as certain initiatives incubated with the project are set to continue. Well, whatever Google's doing, they're abusing us at some level. Apple removes available now claim from the intelligence page following NAD review. The effects of deactivating Facebook and Instagram on users. An abstract paper on the National Bureau of Economic Research. We estimate the effect of social deactivation on users' emotional state in two large randomized experiments just before 2020 U.S. election. People who deactivated Facebook for 6 weeks before the election reported 0.06 standard deviation improvement in an index of happiness, depression, and anxiety relative to control. Well, that's kind of obvious, right? If you get off social media, you might be happier. Movies with AI can win Oscars. Just no, the Oscar party is just a self. It's a self promotion tool. So the Academy Awards is just a Hollywood insider way of the Hollywood elite to promote things. So you keep giving them your hard-earned money. Like I'm looking at maybe 100 DVDs that all used to cost 15 to 20 bucks. I bought them for $1. Somebody else gave their hard-earned money to Hollywood. U.S. scientists flee abroad as research funding cuts deepen. Google pays Samsung enormous sums for Gemini AI app installs. Google pays Samsung an enormous sum of money every month to pre-install Google generative AI app Gemini on its phones and devices, according to court testimony, even though the company's practice of paying for installations has twice been found to violate the law. Logitech quietly raises prices by 25%. Fuckers. Google says DOJ breakup would harm U.S. in global race with China. Of course they would say that. Yeah. NASA's oldest astronaut celebrates 70th birthday with return to Earth. The quest to build islands with ocean currents in the Maldives. AI hallucinations lead to new cyber threat. Slopes squatting. Slopes? Sounds racist. Slope squatting, as researchers are calling it, is a term first coined by Seth Larson, a security developer in residence at Python's Software Foundation, for its resemblance to typo squatting technique. Instead of relying on a user's mistake, as in typos, threat actors rely on AI models' mistake. A significant number of packages, amounting to 19% recommended tests, were found to be fakes. Hold on a sec here. Oh, shit. I forgot to turn off my other phone. Oh. So bandwidth, the stream will improve now. Airbnb now shows full price for your stay by default. Oh, good. Microsoft implements stricter performance management system with 2-year rehire ban. Why would anybody use Microsoft products? Is beyond me. What if Satan had an operating system like Microsoft? Well, just replace the name Bill Gates with the word Satan, and there's like, it's Satan software. Western Digital launches high HDD recycling process that reclaims rare earth elements and cuts out China. Huh. I just clicked on a NBC nuclear chemical biological. U.S. military surplus Avon C-50 gas mask like new. Is it just gas? It accepts the 40 millimeter NATO cartridges. Those are good. Modern design for your chemical warfare military collection. Size medium. You definitely want to get something that protects the eyes also. I like this website called sportsmansguide.com. They've got military, what's it called? Well, used military things. Amazon has paused some data center lease commitments. Keyvan says that's the reason they got so rich, because of Christians. Yeah, Christians willingly give their money to the Jews, and then they complain about it. It's kind of awesome how stupid Christians are. Wines 10.6 released. What does this mean? Some type of computer programming. Teen coder shuts down open source Mac app Whiskey, citing harm to paid apps. Whiskey, a gaming-focused front end for Wine Windows compatibility tool. FTC sues Uber over deceptive subscription billing practice. Yeah, Uber could be sneaky. All right, that's it for Slashdot. We're over at SF Gate. French Laundry making fried chicken in Bay Area. All those pre-packaged salads have an E. coli outbreak. Top 60 Minutes producer quits CBS. Discusses settlement with Trump. Oh, maybe if it's that woman who's Leslie, she's not objective. She's very biased. Nope. Bill Owens is who they're talking about here. Oh. All right, let's go back to X and see if there's any news before I hang this up. 37 minutes. I try to do an hour, but if my flow is not there and I can't keep this rolling as fast as I want, I hang it up. What's happening? Deep State is there. Patel. Not seeing any breaking news. Trending. Let's see what that says. Earth Day. Oblivion, Tim Pool, Kashmir, Shannon, Bethesda, Happy Earth, Gulf of Mexico, Bill Owens, Juno, Sustainability, HIPAA, Rose Bowl. I don't know what's going on with the Rose Bowl. Don't care. All right, I'm to the people in the comments. Thanks for leaving comments. See you later.